Let's get more now on how the community in Southport is coping in the aftermath of the events of last July. I'm joined this evening by Simon Percy, pastor of Southport's Grace Baptist Church. Pastor, thank you so much for joining us here on Sky News this evening. I'm not sure if you could just hear our correspondent Greg Milan there talking about the healing in the community and the question of how do they start to do that? Have they started to do that?
Yes, well, that's been one of the lovely things that's been happening since those horrific and tragic events back in the summer. Lots of churches here in Southport, lots of Christians, and we've been doing things for a long time in the town to help all kinds of different people, like we've run food banks and things like that. But in particular, once this kicked in, we really wanted to sort of do three things, really, to show lots of love in action. So we opened our doors and people would just come in and have a cup of tea, and sometimes they just cry because they didn't know quite what to do with the emotions of it all. And that's gone on, just being there for people to come along and just talk and cry. Second thing we want to do is to pray with them if they wish to. They don't always know how to pray. We know who we can pray to. We want to take their prayers to Jesus. We've been praying regularly for the families of those three girls who were lost, and we've been praying for the town itself. Following the initial sort of month, we had a great time when we were helped by the owner of the Pleasureland, Norman Wallace, to have an event which raised money for these things, and also just brought people together to listen to music, to enjoy the fun fair. And we were given the opportunity to go around that fun fair event and to talk with people and to chat with people and to pray with people who wanted to pray with, and also to share something of the hope that we have in Jesus. And that's what we just kept on doing, particularly wanting to sort of share the hope that is there in the light of such a terrible tragedy.
Pastor, Southport, like many towns up and down the UK, is a multi-faith community. And we know that there was unrest in Southport after the attacks, and the Muslim community felt the brunt of that. And there has been a change in attitude since then. I just want a word on the cohesion of the community, because not just your church opening its doors, but the Muslim community, the first as well to open their doors, and the mosque, and say we're all in this together. I just want to know how that healing has started, because that was an unfortunate byproduct of what happened that day.
A couple of things that I know personally. We have an international cafe, and we've done that work for many years, and we noticed that sadly, following the riots, a number of those who have lived now in the UK, maybe been born elsewhere, but are very much British citizens, they began to keep a low profile. So we wanted to just go and tell those people, look, don't be afraid. We'll be standing by you. You're very welcome. And just to reassure them that we hadn't changed our attitude to them. And I think the whole town has been like that, which has been lovely. That took a few months to get going, but we had a terrific time in November when we had a firework evening, when there were loads of them here. And we're just thinking we're back on track again. Then we came to Christmas, and they were joining us for Christmas events and saying, look, we've managed to get that message across. Look, you may have come from another country originally, but you're very welcome here. And, we're no threat to you. And that, I think the whole town has done that. Cohesion. Well, one of the lovely things, again, led by Norman Wallace at the Pleasureland, he encouraged everyone to get their brooms out and just go and sweep up the mess following the riots. And he organised people to pick up the rubbish, and then those who were more skill was needed to put glass back in, to rebuild walls. He got guys to come and do that. And that was a terrific sense in which we were saying that the bulk of the community in Southport doesn't want to have anything to do with this. We're disassociating ourselves with this. We're going to go out of our way, wherever you may be, and you've been hurt and injured, then we're here to help, and just to come and rebuild things. And the mosque has had an open day since that time, and people have been in there and the imam's been seeking to explain things about what goes on in there, so that it's not kind of a closed space that people understand that a little bit more. That's what he's doing at that particular place of worship. Yeah.
Pastor, when I was there, I got a very strong sense of the community saying, not in our name. The riots and the disorder that followed was not in their name, and they didn't want division. They wanted to pull together at that time.
Yes,
and quite rightly, they have been saying this week, of course, it's going to be the most difficult of weeks for the community because of the trial. That has now changed slightly. They will get closure this Thursday with sentencing coming far sooner than expected. They were, steeling themselves for 6 to 8 weeks of reliving this. But I just want to reflect what they're saying, that the focus shouldn't be on the attacker this week. It should be on the 3 girls that lost their lives. And I know that is at the front of people's minds this week.
Yeah, very much so. And they're the people at the front of our minds as well. They're people we're praying for. One of the things we had some people in our own church who potentially could have been called to be witnesses to just explain what they saw and heard on that horrific day, and they weren't looking forward to it at all. But we're very grateful this man has pleaded guilty and they're spared that. They don't have to go through that, and there will be others as well in exactly the same position. So we're grateful for that. And yes, he's centre stage at the moment, and he will get, his lawful due paid to him on Thursday. He'll be sentenced. But we need to remember the parents, the wider families of these people. We from our own church are people who should have been there and weren't, and we're so grateful they weren't there. But, we need to remember those. But also the town itself. This will be a slight setback to the town in the sense that we're kind of being sent back to July last year, but we've come a long way as a town, a long way indeed. And I think one of the things that we all here want to say to the rest of the world is this is a lovely place to come. It's a holiday town, it's a day out town. Just come and join us. And you'll find that there are various things going on in all kinds of places around the town where people are also just simply seeking to say, look, while you're here, if you want to have a time, we can tell you a little about Jesus and the hope you can have in him and all that he's done for us. And we just started a course just after Christmas called Christianity Explored. It's done all over the country. And we had the largest group of people join us for that for some time. And I think that just reflects a little bit about how people are looking for something else, looking for some answers to the difficult things that happen in the world, including this and other things. And we're trusting that they're finding answers and hope by coming to that course. Yeah.
Simon Percy, pastor of Grace Baptist Church in Southport. Thank you so much for your time this evening.
Thank you for your time as well, Sarah. Thank you.
Oh, pleasure. Thank you.